Well, we've done it. We've reached midweek. It's Wednesday on the Rick Corey Sports Special, and that is Josh Blankenship, the head football coach at Broken Arrow. Kind of celebrating, I would think, still. Another win, a nice win, 27-17 over a Santa Fe team that, as we discussed last week, can be really problematic. So tell me, I know you got down early, but you had a heck of a, well, actually, had a heck of a second quarter to take a really nice lead going to halftime. What'd you do to kind of get things rolling there?
We had a big play on 4th and 10, a fake punt that we connected on from our own territory, a big throw and catch from Jeremiah to Tayshawn Jones-Wade and for a touchdown, and that kind of sparked us offensively. We had struggled getting first downs in that first quarter, but our defense was playing really well, which was a big improvement from the previous week. A lot of good defense and a lot of complimentary football eventually, where our offense finally started to find some things.
One of the things you and I talked about last week is that Santa Fe coaching staff and team, they're good at kind of uglying up a game. Is that kind of some of what was going on early?
Well, they're super talented. I mean, that defensive box they have might be the best one we've seen, and that's not to throw shade on anybody else, but their defensive line and those linebackers are a handful, and so it's not even that they are muddying up a game. That is a very, very talented team, and I don't disagree with you, but they might be the most talented team that hadn't won a game yet. It's really fascinating.
It is. Now, once you guys got rolling, though, you get rolling and you have a late score, and then you go to the half. So, I mean, that's good that you've got a lead at the half, but you got that momentum you want to continue. How do you try to continue that through a half, Josh?
Well, you try to, recalibrate what are we doing that works? What do we need to do more of? How do we clean up mistakes? That's the priority. And then going out and then just executing on the first snap, whatever it is, kickoff or kickoff return. And then, offensively, I try to have a list of, kind of like I start a game with a top set of plays or looks. I try to do that again in the second half. It's a little bit more high confidence probably in the second half because you know what by that point, you know what they're trying to do to you. Defensively, we were playing really good football, and so it was a matter of just continuing to do that. Bottling up that running back they have is quite the task, and so I was really pleased with the swarm of our defense in that game.
When because, like you say, they are talented in certain places. Certainly, they're not talented everywhere. It's very difficult to find that, but they're good enough in those places to make it hard. And you're trying to kind of maintain that through that halftime. But with your defense playing like that, with that swarming defense, you do have an opportunity to overcome mistakes when guys run that hard to the ball, don't you?
You do, and that's good defense. It's if you put a player in a position to stop whatever they have. You hope he makes the tackle, but more than that, you hope he's got 10 other guys flying to his aid, if something happens and that other guy, beats him.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if a great example, look at the OU Texas game, fumble into the end zone, guys rush into the football. The guys that are there that are working the hardest are there first. Your quarterback had a fantastic game. Stemba's 19 of 24, 245, three touchdowns. Is that just improvement continuing, good growth, or was he just really on fire?
Both. I mean, that's his sixth high school game he's played in. It was another road game, which you and I talk about all the time, brings its own unique challenges. He's got a couple under his belt now. He was clutch in critical moments. That fourth down I spoke of earlier was what got us going. Well, the irony is that I'm chewing his butt right after that play for the play he had done before. Later on, he drops a beautiful ball to Tayshawn in the corner of the end zone, and I was chewing his butt for the play he had executed before that one. So it's a lot of just experience, and he continues to be coachable and grow. And he's always been even kills. So he's not an up and down kind of guy. If he makes a mistake, watch out because the next play might be an 80-yard touchdown. I mean, he's just that focused on what he's doing.
And you've told me before because you were a quarterback, sometimes you're probably a little harder on quarterback. So my guess is, and I don't know the young man, there are two kinds of guys who you coach in those situations where they kind of, they'll either buckle up a little bit and okay, fine, I'll show you, or they just kind of ride with it through you. Maybe got a little smile in there when coach is griping a little bit, but they understand. What's his personality type?
He's so coachable that he really is taking in what you're saying. What I've learned is that I can coach him a little harder. I'd probably been easing into the season with him, trying to let him handle the game as it came to him. And he's got a comfort level now that, if you're going to do something stupid, I'm going to get on your butt. So,
And he understands that.
right.
Did you ever give you a little smile?
He did after he threw that fake punt before I think Tayshawn even caught the ball. He was walking to our sideline and asked me for a water. So
That's what I'm looking at right there. I love guys like that who you can get on them all day long. Yeah, they listen, but the criticism doesn't stick. It's only the
right.
correction that does. And then they just smile and move on. They're on your side. You're looking at Josh Blankenship, the head football coach at Broken Arrow. His visit sponsored by Tulsa Accident Care Center. You see our Tulsa Accident Care Center's car back here by the Tulsa Roughnecks jersey. I just switch up the backdrops. I never know what's back there. I just want to remind you, though, about Tulsa Accident Care Center. It is run by some folks that we all know. As a matter of fact, they're in Tulsa, Broken Arrow, and Owasso, and they're involved in high school football. But one of the things Tulsa Accident Care Center wants you to know is what they really do. For instance, you can go there for auto accident rehab, for neck, chest, back pain, shoulder pain, concussions, diagnostics, because it's all in one site rather than going 5 or 6 places around town. You get a physician, you get a physician's assistant, you can get imaging, you can get rehab, you can get all those things in one place with Tulsa Accident Care Center. So unfortunately, we don't want you to have an accident, so it'd be best if you're never a patient. But if you are, get it all in one place with people who really support high school football, and that's Tulsa Accident Care Center. You'll find them at tulsaaccidentcarecenter.com. All right, so for you guys now, 3-3, 2-1 in district, and we talked about that second season. Your guys are doing what you ask, and they're playing better right now. Challenges don't get a lot easier as you've got a team that I just saw in Norman North and a quarterback in Owen Eshelman he's a problem. He is absolutely a problem. What have you seen of them on film?
About what we saw in person the last 2 years. We had them here last year, and Eshelman opened up on the first play of the game on a zone read and went about 80. And we were aware of him obviously from film and what they do on offense, and we still had a hard time containing him. So it's all eyes on him, and then obviously he's got a talented receiver at number 6. He is the key to that offense. I mean, he is super talented. And then defensively, again, we got our hands full. I mean, it's a very, very talented box and some very fast guys in the back end. So, I mean, there's never a week off where you're not playing somebody that can get you.
Yeah, and Eshelman's one of those guys too. He'll keep the team in the game because he's just so doggone tough. I mean, he just run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. There was a lot of quarterback dedicated run in there, but as you mentioned, they do have a really excellent set of receivers when they can get the ball to them. These guys are threats deep. When you have a guy like that, when you see a guy who's a real threat, and I'm not sure your defensive philosophy, how your coordinators handle it. Do you try to flip a corner to him? Do you try to play more zone coverage? Do you ever specify for the one guy when he's like that?
I think coverage definitely can get dictated to a particular guy that's a problem. But again, you've got to find the balance of doing that and containing that quarterback who is probably as elusive as a runner as that running back we just saw against Santa Fe. They're totally different, but just as big of a problem. So there's a balance there, but that's the name of defense is you got to take multiple things away as best you can.
And then you flip it defensively, they do have one or two, especially again up front, like you said. And I can't remember the kid's name, number 0, but that
Yep.
boy, I mean, that guy comes off the bus looking like a football player, and he can get to the football too. Again, they're not great everywhere, but they're good enough in places, and then they are great a few places that they can create those individual lost yardage plays. Again, offensively, do you plan against a guy like that?
You have to. I mean, that guy's a problem. You got to, again, I feel like I say this every week, you got to find the balance of what you do best against where they're weakest. So it doesn't make sense to do our best stuff against their best guy where he's going to win one every once in a while. You have confidence in your own people that they're going to go do their jobs, but why fight an uphill battle if there's an easier way to do your best stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah. The old our best on their worst. That's what everybody's
Yep.
trying to get to. Yeah, you've talked many times about how much you like this team and you think the growth is there. Now that you're 2-1 in district, you've evened the record. Do you see a little of that in their eyes? Do you see some of that I don't know, not I don't necessarily getting it because I know they've been getting it all along, but there with those wins and with that kind of
Yep.
success comes that next step, doesn't it?
It does. We talked about this last week. Um, the formula was evident. The preparation when you do it right throughout the entire week, what it can produce on a Friday night. They've connected those dots. Now our challenge, being a team that's still trying to learn how to win consistently, can we handle success?
Yes.
Because the natural instinct is for anybody is to relax a little bit. And that's the opposite of what we've got to do. That sense of urgency must be maintained. That preparation with that edge, with that sense of urgency that they've had in the past couple of weeks, it can't all of a sudden go away just because we won 2 games in a row.
Right.
That is just as important of the focus, the time spent, the effort spent in film and practice. It's that sense of urgency and that chip on your shoulder that this is the most important game of our season this week.
Do you face that head on, or you just try to do
Yes.
it through what you're talking about?
No, we address it immediately. I told him, I said, my fear, my worry is that you're going to relax because we are not an elite team yet. Do I believe we can be? Absolutely, but we're not there yet. And we certainly aren't playing anybody that fears the logo on our helmet yet. If anything, everybody thinks that we're one of the big five that they can get. And we get everybody's best game, and we will. And Norman North came into our place last year and beat us. So they're not going to flinch at coming over here and playing us again.
Yeah. But it's going to be cooler, which is really great. That gets a little extra pep in the step. You guys adjust anything or just enjoy it more?
I think no, there's not an adjustment other than maybe guys on their own take fewer ice baths and they probably hydrate a little less, which we got to stay on
Yeah.
because the cooler temperature doesn't mean necessarily less dehydration.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm happy your guys are playing well. You mentioned the 2 in a row. I'm happy for that. It's great to see the learning that you think is there when it comes to fruition. That's got to be a special thing as a coach.
It is because that's why you do it. We want to win, but we want them to get that process burned in their brain on how to win because winning's hard. And but when you learn the formula and you really tap into it, that is really, really satisfying to watch them believe in the process and what they're doing every week.
Yep. Well, they're believing, and it's showing, and it's great to see the wins, man. It is. This is again Josh Blankenship, brought to you by Tulsa Accident Care Center. And hey, next week we'll get to talk about a game we'll both be at, so I'll get a chance to visit with you then. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.